Imagine the sting of being labeled the absolute worst golf course in the whole United States. That's the harsh reality facing Leo J. Martin right now, and it's got everyone talking. But stick around, because beneath the rough patches, there's a heartwarming story of community and resilience that might just change your mind. Back in August, a popular golf review site known as My Golf Spy dropped a bombshell in their analysis, officially dubbing the Leo J. Martin Golf Course as the nation's least impressive spot to swing a club. Check out their full list at https:/mygolfspy.com/news-opinion/these are the 10 worst golf courses. Shockingly, Massachusetts snagged the unwanted spotlight with not one, but 3 courses landing in the top 10 worst nationwide. For those new to golf lingo, this ranking highlights public tracks that struggle with maintenance and playability, often due to budget constraints compared to upscale venues. Take Ponkapoag Golf Course in Canton, for instance. The public gem fondly nicknamed Ponky by casual players who hit the links on weekends. It clocked in at number 5 on the dismal list. Then there's Norwood Country Club, sliding into the 3rd spot, which might surprise folks who associate country club with exclusivity and polish. Ponky, at least, has a fun cultural footnote to lean on. It inspired the hilarious and insightful 1996 novel Missing Links by acclaimed sports journalist Rick Riley. You can peek at it here, https://books.google.com/books about missinglinks.html. The book follows a crew of middle-aged buddies who tee off at Ponky and hatch clever plans to infiltrate a posh members-only club, a light-hearted nod to the great divide between public and private golf worlds. Now, to be fair, and this is the part most people miss, My Golf Spy's rankings aren't backed by rigorous, lab-like testing. Instead, they dug through social media platforms, pulling together user ratings and raw feedback to form their judgments. It's more like crowd-sourced opinions than a scientific study, which means personal gripes can weigh heavily. The backlash against Ponky, Norwood, and especially the Martin was brutal and unfiltered. One frustrated golfer vented about Ponky. "This spot doesn't even rise to the level of a basic dirt path for goats. I wouldn't step foot here even if they handed me cash to do it." For Norwood, another quipped, "Labeling this a country club is as off-base as dubbing a fast food joint like Burger King a gourmet restaurant." And the Martin? Ouch. You can't honestly call this a golf course. The greens and starting areas are basically missing. Some holes are nothing but open grass with a flag stuck in the middle. The playing surfaces look like a rocky shoreline, prime for spraining something. No way I'd return, not even on the house. My Golf Spy didn't hold back either, sniking with, boasting a shockingly low Google score of 2.7, Leo J. Martin only passes as a golf course because that's what it claims to be. But here's where it gets controversial. Are these snap judgments from online complainers really fair, or do they overlook the bigger picture of accessible recreation? Maybe it's my bias toward rooting for the little guy, but I decided to see for myself. Last week, I grabbed my clubs and headed out with my son to tackle the Leo J. Martin. As a senior, my fee for a full 18 holes was just $17, barely enough for a basic lunch at those fancy private spots. Details on fees at https://golf.com/greenfees. My son paid $27, matching Ponky's rates. Over at privately run Norwood, expect to shell out $37 to $46 normally, or $34 to $43 if you're in my age bracket, plus extra for a cart. That's a noticeable jump from these state-managed options. That said, dubbing them greens fees feels a bit generous at the Martin, since, let's be real, the putting surfaces are more brownish than green. For beginners, greens are the smooth, closely mowed areas where you putt toward the hole. When they're patchy, it throws off the whole game. In golf, just like in so many aspects of daily life, your investment often matches your experience. Elite private clubs demand hefty initiation fees. Think tens of thousands up front, plus ongoing annual dues to keep those pristine, velvety fairways and greens in top shape. Fairways, by the way, are the main paths from tee to green where you aim your drives. Public venues like the Martin and Ponky operate on slimmer budgets with a different goal. welcoming everyday folks without breaking the bank. And there's absolutely no shame in that approach. It democratizes the sport. I won't sugarcoat it, though. The tough critiques of the Martin hold water. The layout is rough around the edges, craving more upkeep, nutrients for the turf, and overall TLC. Games can drag on, since most players there aren't scratch golfers with low handicaps. Handicaps being a system that levels the playing field by adjusting scores based on skill, so newcomers aren't intimidated. Yet, I'm not here to slam the Leo J. Martin into the ground. Instead, let's celebrate what it offers. It's a budget-friendly haven for those who can't afford private membership or snag the occasional guest pass from affluent pals. In a sport that can feel elitist, places like this keep the doors open wide. Just ask Alexis Kissam from Wellesley, one of the 3 affluent towns, alongside Newton and Weston, that the Martin spans. She recently brought her 9-year-old son Freddie and his friend Roman Coffey for a round. They're just starting out with golf, so this is ideal for them, she shared enthusiastically. We had a blast. It's perfect for picking up the basics without pressure. Plus, the staff here is incredibly welcoming and supportive. Stories like hers show how these courses foster the next generation of players. That kind of positivity brings a grin to Martin Hanley's face. As a supervisor at the course, he admits the recent bad press from My Golf Spy's Worst in America tag hurts. It doesn't feel right, he told me. And basing opinions on social media alone, that's not how you truly evaluate a place. Or anything, really. Spot on, especially since online reviews often amplify extremes over nuance. What bothers Hanley most is how these critiques miss the human side. We built a fantastic vibe here, he explained. The team is top-notch, and the players come from all walks of life. We're all about serving our local community. To drive it home, right behind him as we chatted outside the modest clubhouse, a special golf clinic for individuals with autism was underway. A touching example of inclusivity that private clubs might overlook. Hanley, along with fellow supervisor Vera Rundlet, who paused from shuttling carts to join the conversation, beamed with pride over the Martin's role as a melting pot. It draws folks from every background, varied incomes, ethnicities, abilities, and cultures, united by their passion for golf, that timeless pursuit Mark Twain once jokingly called a good walk spoiled, but which brings joy to millions anyway. Hanley shared a gem of a story, a retired physicist from Boston University, now in his 90s, who shows up faithfully. Their chats wander beyond birdies and bogeys into deeper topics like life's big questions, proof that the course is more than just grass and sand traps. And get this, Hanley added, some mornings when dawn hasn't quite broken, I spot cars already in the lot, folks eager to start as soon as it's tea time. This place is a hidden treasure, even if it's a bit tarnished. A modest investment and it'd sparkle. He's got a point. Imagine the transformation with better irrigation and seeding. The Martin reminds me of that forlorn little tree Charlie Brown picks in the classic holiday special, all droopy and dismissed, until Linus gives it a gentle wrap in his blanket, whispering, maybe it just needs a little love. Relive the magic here. https:/youtube.be/TVYBOF07UY. It's a sad story. Sadly, no such comforting blanket is in sight for the Martin. Essentials like seeds, fertilizers, and water aren't cheap. And while we'd hope the state's Department of Conservation and Recreation steps up, don't count on it anytime soon. That's a real pity, because despite the bumpy tees, uneven fairways, and faded greens, the Martin's design shines through. It boasts stunning natural surroundings and holes that test your skills in clever ways, the kind of layout that could rival top courses with proper care. It makes you wonder, could this spot become legendary if the government invested in public spaces with the same zeal that private clubs lavish on their elite crowds? During our round, my son and I paused on the par 5, 535-yard fourth hole, its expanse evoking wide-open Midwest plains, and watched a group of geese lift off in a flawless V formation, gliding toward the nearby Charles River, pure magic amid the imperfections. After we wrapped up, Martin Hanley approached with a wide smile, arms crossed confidently. One more perk of this course, he said warmly. The wildlife and scenery are breathtaking. After all, a river truly flows right through it. But let's stir the pot a bit. Is it fair to crown a course the worst based on upkeep alone, ignoring its role in building community and joy for everyday players? Or should public funding prioritize these gems over flashier projects? What do you think? Does Leo J. Martin deserve more love and resources, or is the criticism spot on? Drop your takes in the comments. I'd love to hear if you've played there or similar spots and how they stack up. Kevin Cullen is a columnist for The Globe. Reach him at kevin.cullen@globe.com.